everybody. Welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Brian David Marshall here with four-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor Willy Edel. And Willy, you were just saying to me you'd like to sign a petition to play all standard at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Because you've only got one loss so far with your deck in standard. Draft maybe has been a little rougher for you.
Exactly. Like, it's funny because like 7 years ago I would sign a petition for like all limited Pro Tours, but times change. Like I know the man. I cannot get things like fast things limited, so standard is my thing. So Brad Nelson, everyone out there, all standard Pro Tour please. Like let's do it.
I don't know if that's going to happen, Willy, but you were kind enough to participate in a project with us, sort of chronicle your thought process in building a standard deck for a Pro Tour. And you started out by explaining to us your 3 rules for building a deck. Let's take a look at the 3 rules Willy Edel has for building a deck. Number 1, it must beat aggro.
Yeah, like historically, like in Grand Prix Pro Tours, like you have like a lot of newcomers, and the safeguard for these newcomers is usually like aggro decks or creature decks. So I understand people that wants to beat like everything, wants to beat like the decks that pros play, which usually likes control, but I like to be consistent. And my first rule is to beat aggro. Like whatever deck that I pick, I usually like take out everything that's bad against against aggro, and put like on the sideboard, and tune my deck to be like game 1 like the aggro deck, and then I figure out like games 2 and 3.
So your second rule, you must beat the mirror. So whatever you're going to play, it's obviously going to be a deck that's well tested, well known.
Exactly.
You want to be able to beat that deck.
Like it comes like from years ago. Like every time I tried to have an edge in the mirror, for example, like when Judge with Legendary Souls was the top deck, I started to play like with Thundermaw Hellkites. When everyone like started to play like with in modern, like I talk about modern, like with for example, Legendary Souls, I start to cutting off Liliana from the Jones decks. So I always try to have an edge in the mirror match, and I will show like the edge that I try to find on this one.
And I think the important thing here is you need to enjoy it. It needs to be something you feel comfortable playing.
Yeah. Like Pro Tours are like really exhausting. Like you play like for 10 hours a day, and if you're not enjoying your deck, like after your first loss, you'll say, "Oh my God, I'll just drop this and go home." And that happens a lot, like in casual tournaments. Like you play a deck that you don't like and lose the first round of Friday night and just go back home.
Sure. Let's take a look. So something you must enjoy. No surprise, you started with Sidisi. So Sidisi Whip has been a deck you've liked a lot. Your starting point was a deck that has a throwback. Let's take a look at Doomwake Giant, a card that we haven't seen much lately, but this is kind of where your starting point is, like almost like the Sidisi Constellation-y kind of decks.
Yeah, I played the deck like for like 6 months, and I wasn't sure if the deck was still good for this Pro Tour, like for this new field with Dragons of Tarkir, but fortunately, like Rich Duke played the deck in the South City Invitation and top 8 of the deck, and that showed me the deck is still good. So I have like a backup plan. If everything goes wrong, I knew the CDs was a viable like deck, and I will try to tune the deck like later on my play testing to find the best version of it.
So then from there you start to play with the new cards. You start to look, and you start looking at a version with dragons. I see Dromoka's Command, Thunderbreak Regent. You start looking at these cards. Let's take a look at Dromoka's Command. What is it about this card that makes you think that you want to get this into a deck?
This card was supposed to kill the whip decks because it's a super aggressive card. It kills the whip itself, like kills coursers and everything. And till I start to play with Dam Protector, I thought this was the best card on the set. So every single deck I try to build involves this card. Like the deck we just showed is like a head green, pretty popular, like dragons, and I try to splash Dromoka's Commands. Like every single deck I tried, aggro decks, involves like Dromoka's Command because it's just amazing.
Okay, so let's take a look. So from there now, you start really thinking, and you're thinking about Deathmiss Raptor was in the last version also. This is again what about Deathmiss Raptor? Let's take a look at that card. What is it about this card that plays so well with this strategy that you're thinking about built around CDC Brute?
When I first saw the card, I thought it was something like kind of the card that aggro deck wants, but it's not like that. I think it works like much better in the control shell. It's not actually a control shell, like a mid-range shell, when you get a lot of value blocking. He blocks very well, he attacks very well the control decks, and you have like the chemistry, like all the morphs, like whenever you play a morph, they will be scared. And whenever you have like the Dame Protectors, like it's just so much value in a big board. Like I will play, if you watch like 2-2, I will play the same way.
Yeah, and keep talking about Den Protector, such a value there. You can play this early, trade off with a creature, maybe draw a removal spell, then you'll flip up my Den Protector, return a card from my graveyard, and get them back.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like I see a lot of
people keep talking about Den Protectoring their Thoughtseize. Is that a very common play?
It's perfect. Like it's like a dream. Like I think like mid-range standard deck especially, they need like a Eternal Witness effects like for so much time. Like see this deck that you have a lot of self-mill, and you used to not be able to bring back like removals and whips and just creatures, and Dame Protector does it all. Like and the interaction between like self-mill, Dame Protector, and the Raptor, like sold me out on trying to mesh all these cards together.
Okay, let's take a look. You played around a little bit with a combo version. You're going to have to explain this to me. I don't really understand it. I see the Gray Merchant, I see the Fennecs, I see all these cards, but there's a card in here. Let's take a look. 4 copies of Rally the Ancestors in this version you were testing. What's going on here?
When I tried to build like all possible versions of whip decks, I crossed against like someone playing on Magic Online a version of this card, which pretty much involves it's like milling yourself like as much as you can, and you bring back everything. Like the version I saw had like, if you can go back, but if you can't, that's fine. Involves a lot of Mogis Marauder, Gray Merchant, and Rhino to just bring back everything and does a lot of damage.
So basically, if you can get to 7 mana, you get to return all your Gray Merchants, all your Siege Rhinos, all your Mogis.
Yeah, and you just kill the triggers. Like, if you have the Mogis Marauder, give haste to everyone, you can just attack. But if not, you can just drain, like, for a lot. And there's some Phoenix there, because I was crossing against, like, Green White Devotion deck. They have a lot of life, you cannot kill. So you can just bring back Phenax as well and build them.
and just finish them off in one. That's actually pretty exciting.
It's pretty exciting.
I'm going to think about that a lot, actually, now. But we're getting a little closer. April 3rd, you're almost there. You know, we see, you're back to the whip. The Den Protectors are there. Let's take a look at, our featured card here. Dragon Lord of Tarka. This is like an off-color card.
Yeah, this is my pick for the best myth in the set. I know Ojutai has a lot of love, but I just love Tarka. In the past, we had to run like Doomwake Giant with obviously like a bad deck against control and a really bad card against like Green-White when all the creatures are big. And with Tarka, you solve this problem. Like you don't need to run like Doomwake to sweep all the small guys.
Because you just get to clean up with Tarka.
While at the same time you have like a big finisher, so it does it all. Like it does the same role as both Hornet Queen and Doomwake Giant.
Okay, let's take a look at how the deck actually turned out. Let's see where you ended up and actually go through the cards you chose. I know we started with the basic mana, 1 Rattleclaw Mystic, 4 Sylvan Caryatid, 4 State of Wayfinders, and the Courser Crufix. Let's keep moving on. We'll go through this. 4 Sidisi, 1 Sidisi, 2 Hornet Queens, 2 Whips, and then the big new cards. 3 Den Protectors, 2 Deathmatch Raptors, and a Dragon Lord.
Yeah, I had for a long time like 4 Death Misses and less Courses, but as I said, like I need some extra punch against aggro, so I need to bring back like all the Courses and take out some Death Misses. 3 Den Protectors, probably a mistake. I should bring 4 as now, and 1 Tarkir that is 200 Queen as well. And I was not sure about which one I have, like 2 and 1, so I have 2 Hornet Queen main deck, 1 Dragon Lord Tarkir main deck, and an extra Dragon Lord in the sideboard. Okay, and then let's just take a look and see 2 Thoughtseize, 1 Ultimate Price, 3 Heroes Downfall, 3 Murderous Cut, and then quickly we'll just take a look at the mana. How do you make this all work? A Coast, 4 Llanowar Waste, a Mana Confluence, Delta, Urborg, and then the last set, 1 Bivouac, 4 Opulent Palace, 3 Temple of Maladies, and then some basic lands. Yeah, it's a pretty stock like CDs with mana base. I just switched the Mystic, the blue-green Temple for the Bivouac, and add the Confluence just to cast the Tarkir if I don't have the Caryatid or something.
And have you hard cast Tarkir?
Yeah, several times.
Absolutely fabulous. Okay, so there you have it. That's a new take on Sidisi Whip or Sidisi Sultai Reanimator, whatever you want to call it. The Willy Edel's trademark deck. You see sort of his thought process as he went through it. He's only dropped 1 game with it, so 1 match with it so far. We're going to let him get back out there. Willy Edel, thank you for sharing your deck diary with us. I'm Brian David Marshall from the Tournament Center.